It's September, the humidity is in the air, there's hurricanes about, none hitting us, thank God. And, you know, when you're down here or wherever hurricanes hit, you do end up getting that, I don't know what you'd call it, the better them than us mentality, you know, because you get enough of your own. You have to, at a minimum, clean up the yard and get rid of all the crap, and at the maximum, you have to rebuild everything. So it's just nice to see it hit someone else. I really do enjoy it. I'm kidding. I don't enjoy it at all. But I'm not entirely kidding about the better them than us thing. That said, today I have this 1983 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. Biarritz is some sort of town in, I don't know, northern France. It's on a bay, like the Bay of Biscay or something. Obviously, it's a very pretty place, and Cadillac decided to borrow that name for a trim package on their Eldorado. And the Eldorado was one of the rare survivors in the American luxury coupe market. You know, I guess there was plenty out there, Cougars and that sort of thing, even cars. But it did quite well. It came out and there was a show car. It was a concept car in 1952, designed for Cadillac to celebrate their first 50 years of existence. So they even had a naming contest for the car after they made it. And some nice secretary, I don't know, she could have been a horrible bitch for all I know, but her name was Mary Mirani, or Marianne Mirani, something like that. Anyway, she won the competition by coming up with the name Eldorado, which either is a bastardization of Spanish that means the golden one, or two words put together, the lost city of gold, and you know, the Inca lore, South American lore, whatever it is, that's where the name came from. And it's very fitting, because you want to talk about a bling type situation. You know, the Eldorado is it. Originally, it was the flagship of the Cadillac lineup. In 1953, they produced 500 or so, and they were $2,000 more than the Fleetwood limousine. Like 70 plus grand, almost $80,000 in today dollars. That went on for many, many years. The Eldorado was just the flagship of the Cadillac lineup until you get to like the late 60s, or actually the early 60s. Then Cadillac sort of became based on the DeVille. It was just a different option package, and still was essentially the same type of car as the other Cadillacs. It was just distinguished by badging and option features. Depending on who you listen to, there's like 10 or 12 or 15 different generations of Eldorado. This one could either be the 10th or the 12th. It doesn't really matter. It came out in 1979 on a front-wheel drive E platform. Since the late 60s, they were front-wheel drive. They shared the same platform as the Riviera and the Toronado, and that continued all the way through 1985. And in 79, they really shortened the hell out of this thing, made it lighter, more nimble, added rear independent suspension, which certainly helped it out a little bit, and continued the front drive thing. So even in the Malaise-tastic, you know, era of the mid-70s to the mid-80s, you know, the Eldorado sort of stood out as a fascinating, interesting car, and of course, quite the movie star. It appeared in, you know, all sorts of, say, Casino and The Sopranos and this, that, the other. For some reason, it always seemed to gravitate towards the gangsters of the world, and I imagine that still continues today. I think in Casino, it was this generation Eldorado that, what's his face? Oh, God, for them, I can't... Only like the most famous actor out there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it exploded on him and he ended up being saved because it was a crappy bomb or something. Deniro, I think. But anyway, this car has seen a lot of use in TV and the movies over the years. And it is quite striking. I mean, I know I'm going to get a lot of haters on this thing. For one, because it's got the ultimate pimpy bling package with that big, you know, add-on grill and all the chrome stuff on the bottom, the mud flaps, the Biarritz that gives you the stainless roof, which harkens to that 57 Caddy, the opera lights, the luggage rack. I get it. You know, you don't have to say it. I read the comments. I know what's going on. You know, a lot of haters out there. And, of course, quite a few very nice, supportive people as well. Thank you for that. But anyway, it is what it is. And this, again, gets a pass for me. It's a, you know, I mean... how can I put it? You know, I mean, if you rescue a cat or a dog from the Humane Society, you're going to love that cat or that dog. It can get away with all kinds of crap because you love the cat or the dog. And that is the way that I feel about these 80s Luxo barges. I realize they have anemic, poorly constructed V8s and such, and floaty suspensions and plasticky bits and all these things that people don't necessarily love. I don't care. I mean, this is a car that I grew up with. It meant a lot to me. When I was a kid, I was getting tennis. In Naples, you get golf and tennis lessons. It's just what you do. And a friend of mine, John, I can't remember his Burker, nice guy. His dad had an 83 Touring Edition, one of these sort of hot rod Eldorados with alloy wheels and fancy supportive seats. And I was just enamored of that thing. And the rest is sealed in history. So anyway, let's just get into that. You see the beautiful big chrome bumpers. Love that. The wreaths and crests on the back. The Biarritz script on the right side of the trunk. I suspect this is a aftermarket installed bling bling luggage rack, which frankly is completely unnecessary because it has a trunk the size of the Queen Mary. But let's get into it. I suppose it'd be a nice place to strap down some kids or grandkids or something so they can get a little bit of fresh air instead of being locked in the trunk. Alright, so we're going to open that guy up. And here you see our cavernous trunk, which being the independent rear suspension, that helped really make the car bigger. You didn't have this big, you know, differential in the back, so you got more rear cargo room in the trunk, you got more rear passenger room in the back seat, and everyone's going to be pretty chipper about that. You see it's got one of these donut tires under a nice little carpety cover. Still got the original floor mats with it, with the wreaths, and no crests on that one, but it's got the ducks. Nicely carpeted all around, just very lovely in the trunk area. And put my tag back on so when we go, we can go. Yeah, of course it falls down onto the ground. Oh, and I do love the old gas cap behind the license plate thing. That's gonna make a millennial freak out. They won't be able to find that, I promise you. That's just not something they knew about. Have a look under the hood. There's that rather attractive stainless roof. This one happens to have a sunroof slapped right in the middle of it, one of GM's Astra roofs. Nice option on the car. But anyway, that harkened to that 1957 very, very fancy Eldorado, which is an incredible collectible today. And had a stainless roof, so you're going to need a little bit of Scotch-Brite to make that one work. All right, let's get this thing in the air. That is one heavy hood. Okay, so there is Cadillac's high technology 4100 HT. You know, high technology, not necessarily anymore, but maybe at the time. I do like the polishy looking valve covers. You know, it is fuel injected 4.1 liter aluminum block, or I don't exactly remember. It might have been iron heads, aluminum block, something with that, cast iron liners. Not a beloved engine, but you know, here it is. Here it is 37 years later, still going strong in this car. So, you know, they weren't too bad if they were looked after. It's a longitudinally mounted front drive, so you know, looks quite normal under the hood, even though it is a front drive car, and everything nice and pretty under the hood of this well-kept machine. You know I'm going to get people who are saying I should have put the factory grille back on this car, but I think it's bolted through the top, so it's not really an easy thing to do. You might even have to repaint the hood to do it. And you know what? It's fine. It's period correct. This was the kind of stuff Cadillac dealers threw on at the time to make extra money on these cars. They probably charged some poor bastard an extra $2,000 to put that grille on, and he loved it. Drove around looking like he's in a Corniche or something. Also on the Biarritz, you get that big chrome strip down the side, very, very attractive, and you get opera lights instead of whatever other thing it had. I think also you get the chrome on the bottom, though that may have come on the others as well. Look at the inserts on the bumpers, the black impact strips with the white in it, how nice and clean they are. This was apparently, and again, you hear these things when you buy them, you don't know they're true, but you take a word. It's supposed to have been owned since like 1990 by one family who looked after it and kept it going, and I have to say that certainly the look of the car does back that up. It does appear to have been very well maintained. maintained. When you see Michelin's on there, those bolt-on wire wheel covers in nice shape, you get the feeling this thing was garaged and looked after. Love the big chunky chrome door handles. Okay, and I mean, look, you say what you will about pimps and, you know, poor GM quality of the era and all that stuff. It's fine. I'm not going to disagree with you. But that is also a beautifully crafted interior. I mean, it's just gorgeous. With the Biarritz, you get this big, pillowy, white, fluffy, tufted buttoned leather that's just stunning. It contrasts beautifully with the burgundy deep pal carpet, the leather-wrapped wheel, all these big wood, you know, fake wood bits with vintage-looking pull handles and chromy door pulls and all your power seats and windows. Look at the deep pal carpet. I mean, I wish I had carpet like this in my house. It's softer than my dog and cat. Well, I don't have a cat, but it'd be softer than it if I did. But anyway, everything just sort of lovely, and to me very neat and cool and un-European and very American, and from an era that's long since bygone. You know, if it harkens back, if it's a cheesy imitation of a 50s or 60s Cadillac designed to appeal to guys who are getting older at the time, that's just fine with me. You know, I love it. It's quintessentially American, and I think it's terrific. And the back seats, your Canadians are going to be intensely chipper. They've got all kinds of footroom in there, no issues at all. You've got that tufted, pillowy leather. You've got map lights that you can aim around to light stuff up, a little package shelf in the back, even an armrest and some wreaths on the back of the seats. And, you know, Cadillac really had no issues with interiors at the time, at least in my opinion. Okay, you've got this weird big overhang on the dash. I always thought that was strange, and I'm not sure I liked it, but I guess they had to have, the way it must have been a flaw of the engineering, because if they put the correct length dash to just sort of cover that, you see that overhang, the dash would have looked very short and maybe not befitting a big Eldorado with, you know, a giant wreath and crest leading the way, so that's probably how they came up with that. But anyway, no cracks on the dash, all very nice and lovely to look at. You've got a horizontally laid out speedometer, 85 miles an hour. The 55 is highlighted because that was the law at the time. You got your PRNDL there beneath it, your information centers. You've got your wipers, your headlight switch is a chrome knob with wood on it. Everything's chrome and wood. It's just very, very nice to look at, in my opinion. Over here, you've got fuel economy data that, you know, supposedly would help you become a more efficient driver. Maybe. You've got electronic climate control. That came standard on all Cadillacs at the time. And at some stage, the prior owner upgraded the in-dash radio to this two-knob Sony that fits nicely in the package, but would prefer it had the original. But it must have been pretty good. They even had an audio-video sticker saying who installed it and when and how. I'm hitting the damn buttons wrong again. So anyway, you've got your user's manual, original book set with the car, little touch-up paint the guy had made, the bolt-on guy for the wire wheel covers, again, this audio-video thing from the guy who installed the Sony, and a trunk release. You can also run more lights under the dash with these little chrome switches, so all very cool stuff. Let's fire this thing up. Right, there you can hear that V8 comes to life, runs nice and smooth, very, very proper, and exactly, I guess, what you'd want to hear from an HT 4100 that's still in good shape. Up top, you've got a white headliner. These have faded yellowish over the time. This little placed, I guess you can't put up. Used to be, oh, because it's the sunroof. Otherwise, you might have been able to put a garage door opener in there. It does have a slider for the roof, and then you run this guy here. Back it goes, and you can let in either the day or the night air on top of having glass, so you can just have it to get a little bit more light inside. You also got sun visors, all very nice stuff, and everything you'd expect from a Cadillac of the era. So, all right, let's go for a spin. And again, this is from that era where you didn't really steer these cars. I mean, I know they sold this as a good handling car, but it really isn't. I mean, not in any modern sense of the word is it at all. Let's put the air on, let's see. Get it on low, I know it makes wind noise. Wait for these gates to open. You know, I mean, it's just cool whip at the four corners. It's got big over-assisted steering, big over-assisted brakes. You know, I imagine the independent suspension in the back sort of helped it handle a corner a little bit better. The front drive obviously helped it in the ice, sleet, and snow and that sort of thing. But again, this is more a car that you navigate like a yacht than one that you drive normally. There's that horrible sun in the morning. Tell you what, I'm going to pause it till we get to the end of the street. That's just too much. Even if we see something fun, we're not going to be able to see it. All right, so that's a bit better. So, well, anyway, so here's the way the car works. You just kind of float it down the road. You've got the V8, and what is it, 130 horsepower or something? I think my Miata has that, maybe 135. But, you know, it's got V8 torque, so it will bring the car down the road. You know, the suspension, it just sort of floats about. The steering is kind of really nice and lovely and light. Let's see what we got on the radio. I got a little Clapton this morning singing about cocaine. I think that's what that is. God bless him. But I got a lot of flack for coming after the Doobie Brothers last time. Don't fuck with the Doobie Brothers. Holy shit, you got a village with pitchforks and torches coming after you. I don't mind the Doobie Brothers. Trust me. Go easy on me. I just have had enough. I don't want to hear Freebird on the radio anymore either for a little while. Give me a couple years on that one. Same with the Doobies. Anyway, so here it is. I'm floating the caddy down the road. I've got the wreaths and crests leading the way. I could be heading to the casino or to do a collection at a butcher shop or beat the crap out of somebody in a backyard somewhere, and it's just nice. And to me, I get it. You can get much more modern cars that do things. They have airbags and V8 superchargers and all kinds of great stuff. They handle, they tune the Nuremberg they do all kinds of stuff, but you know, this is fine with me. I got cold air conditioning. I'm cruising down the boulevard. I've got a lot of pimpy style going. People are checking me out, and I think that's cool as hell. And that's why I do like these 80s Luxo barges. They really bring me back to another place in time, and I have enjoyed every single one that we've taken in, and this one is no exception. Again, 83 Eldorado Biarritz, 87 on the clock, beautifully maintained car, exceptional inside and outside condition. It's available at Autohaus of Naples. If you have an interest, that's autohausnaples.com or on the telephone at 263-8500. You can give the guys a call there. So thank you very much for having a look. I appreciate it. I think I'm going to get 2 videos up today because I did a Ford Crown Vic yesterday that I didn't get the time to put up. So we'll get both of those going hopefully today and then find something good for tomorrow. Thanks for having a look. Really appreciate it. We'll see you with the next one. Take care.